Okay. Hello, Prerna. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So, can you please introduce yourself to us? Like,
Okay, this is Prerna Kadam. I'm working as a research technician at Queen Mary University. And yeah, I'm going to pursue a PhD in CRUK Scotland Institute.
okay.
Yeah,
So,
that.
like, you are going to start this year.
Yep.
And when did you complete your master's?
I completed my master's, I think, a year ago. Yeah, in 2023.
Okay.
I did my master's in stem cells and regenerative medicine from the University of Nottingham.
Okay.
And after that, I had a period where I had to struggle for, not struggle, actually look for jobs, and it was like a very bad period. And yeah, I finally got this research technician job.
Mm.
Simultaneously, I was applying for PhD positions. But I think with this job, I could display myself more effectively to what a PhD wants or looks for in candidates. And that is why I was able to get
Okay.
a PhD.
So, like, how difficult was it to for you to find a job after your master's in London? Was it like
Very difficult
difficult?
because I was living in Manchester actually, and research assistant or research tech jobs are competitive
Mm.
because so basically I come from India. The skill set and the lab experience that you get there are not comparable to the students here.
Mm.
So that is the first form of barrier you can say to selecting a candidate. But then there are also other barriers of uh, how much years of experience do you have, or what specific criteria or what specific job details are you looking for. So for example, if you are more of a structural biologist like you, and you are searching for a job in some other field just because it's biology,
Yeah.
even though it's somewhat related, you would have a hard time. So to tailor your CV and your cover letter to the job that you are wanting to apply is very difficult. At the same time, it takes a lot of field work, like connecting with people
Mm.
and the people who have got jobs in the particular sector, like connecting with them, reviewing their CVs and
Yeah.
trying to align it with what your CV says. And yeah, and then then there's the barrier of interviews and how well you perform. And it's sometimes I feel like it's not just like you get better and better the more you do it, and finally you land something.
Okay. So, I mean, you had when you were doing this, so you had multiple offers, or you just got offer from the place you're
I
working at?
think I did interviews at 3, 4 places. And yeah, this was the only offer that I got at that time. But
Okay.
uh, I was in the process of interviewing.
Hmm.
So for the first 6 or 7 months, I had no interview at all. Yeah, and I was like applying and trying to like perfect my CV or cover letter and whatever, and reaching out to professors. And I just knew that my professor and the professors from other labs were
Hmm.
very supportive, and they used to like review my CV or statements and just be honest about it.
Yeah.
So I know that, okay, I was going on a right direction. But then when I got my first interview, that was the time when I understood, okay, this particular pattern is the right thing, or this is what you should include. And then I studied it a bit more.
Hmm.
And that is how I ended up getting good interviews at good places. And from the interviews, like, I think that the more not focused I was on the interview, the more good it was. To give you an example, the position here that I have got, I never wanted to accept that.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, I might just give the interview. I don't want to accept it. And so I think I was being myself.
Hmm.
That is why I got that job.
Okay.
And for other PhDs, or sorry, for other positions, I was very like stern. Like I want to do well. I want to do this and da da da. I had like set rules for myself, and that is why I feel that even though I like reached the last stage, something would happen.
Okay.
So that worked for me. Like sometimes doing nothing works for you because you may be an anxious person. So
Yeah.
yeah, whatever works for you, you
Yeah.
do that.
So, okay, so you just mentioned something about, the pattern that you understood while you were applying. So, what was that pattern that you understood? That, okay,
Sorry,
this is
which
the pattern.
pattern?
You mentioned that that there is a pattern to applying, and that I understood that this pattern works for me. So what was
Okay,
the
yeah.
pattern?
So basically, here in the UK, the
Hmm?
jobs that you apply to have a set sort of job description
Okay.
and job, suppose like they have a like summary of job description and also a detailed paragraph about what they are looking for and what the person should do.
Okay.
In tailoring that to your CV so that your CV shouts that you can do that, but at the same time mentioning it in your cover letter in a very well put format, like
Hmm.
not just saying I know this technique, this technique, this technique, not like that, but more like why do you know this technique and how good you're at it, and like
Oh.
how did it shape your project and what do you want to learn ahead. So basically, for this job role, most of the techniques that I'm doing right now, I don't have a lot of experience in that, but I showed that I want to learn that, and maybe that
Okay.
is why they chose me. So,
Ah.
so sometimes like exploring and that works, studying the job description,
Mhm.
job profile, the lab is very important. I think these are some of the things that worked for me.
Mhm.
Yeah, and also like reaching out to people who have already secured position in that particular
Yeah.
institute, that helps because some institute have a set pattern of the people they select and they have a set pattern in terms of their CV. So
Ah.
maybe that can help you.
Okay. And did you also apply for the industry jobs, or you were just looking for jobs in academia?
I did apply to one industry job, and that was just because I wanted to feel confident that I can get something.
Okay.
But yeah, I always wanted to be in academia.
Ah.
Uh, Industry job, I thought like let's try that because since I was not getting anything and I wanted experience and not waste time, I
Mm.
did apply to an industry job. But the interview process was very, very, very excruciating in terms of they had like a 6 months interview.
What?
So
6 months?
after the first initial application where they had like too many questions, then they had another interview. And after that interview, they had like a 2 hour session where they gave me one task just before the interview for me to do and one task during the interview and one presentation to prepare. So, like three things. That was like a 2 hour long session. And after that, I had an interview with the CEO. So, like, last two people would have an interview with the CEO.
Okay.
He was a like good man from Imperial College, and like he graduated from Imperial, and he was a Forbes 40 businessman something.
Wow.
And yeah, I had an interview with him, my last stage, and it went well. I thought it really went well, and I was so confident in myself. Yeah, like, yay, I think I have got this, and it was in London. And that person gets back to me saying that you are overqualified for the job and maybe you should apply for a higher position. And I cried so much
Oh my God.
because, I mean, yeah, yeah, that was
And
a bad experience. But yeah, because of that, I landed the job. So no complaints.
yeah, you get your hopes high, and then something like that this happens. You hit the rock bottom.
Yeah.
You're like, that becomes your safety net. Okay, if nothing
Yeah,
happens.
somewhere I knew that I have got it because I had cleared all the rounds and which were difficult, like the.
Yeah.
And so I never thought that I would go that far. And in the last round, where he did not ask anything technical, he just wanted to see you, right? And then there he's like, you're too qualified. And that just felt like a tight slap on my face. Honestly, yeah.
And okay, so you mentioned that you're going to pursue a PhD. You're starting your PhD this year, right? So now that you have done a job for these many number of months, why do you think that you want to do a PhD to be in research? You can, with your skill set, you might apply for an industry job, you might stay in academia doing what you do. So why a PhD?
Okay, so this job was not because that I wanted to do a research technician job. I wanted experience, that is true, but everything was because I wanted to do a PhD. So it
Oh,
was never because like I have no option or I want to go in this and explore that. No, I was always said that I wanted to do a PhD because I think that whatever I have learned and whatever I have pursued through the years, it was always designed in a way that I can apply that to a PhD. So, for example, I did my master's in India in animal physiology,
yeah.
and I had some sort of experience in bioinformatics, and that was my dissertation topic.
Yeah.
And I did again a master's here in stem cells technology to get lab experience. So my idea was so that I can combine the two techniques together, but also I was interested into drug discovery and drug related research. And having a physiology background, I wanted to be it like my PhD to be in a way, okay, this is getting complicated, but I wanted my PhD to be in a way where I can sort of integrate everything. So, integrate wet lab as well as dry lab, but at the same time, use that for drug discovery, but that would be relevant to normal physiology of the body, right? So, not just abruptly make a drug and put it in clinical trials, but like to assess it in terms of how well it will fit with normal working of the body. So that was my goal, and that is why I did my masters. And I was like, okay, now I want a PhD in, and I had like three set rules.
Okay.
First was it should be bioinformatics, and it should have
Yeah.
computational part, it should have wet lab part, and then it should lead to a drug discovery.
Ah, okay.
That three was like always set, and fortunately, I got this position, which was also an integrated position, so I had to learn both the techniques.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that really helped me to like be like, okay, I want a PhD and these are the set rules, and I always wanted to have a PhD. Yeah.
So it was like you know that you gained one skill set, but the kind of PhD you wanted to required both. So you were like,
Yeah.
okay, let's do this as well. So it
Yeah.
has to complement each other.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me tailor my question.
Yeah.
Then why research? Then that should be the question. You always have heard people around you because you have been in both in London and in India that, research is a very difficult field to be in, be it money wise, be it the number of hours that you have to work, be it the work life balance. Then why did you choose research?
Well, this might sound very childlike, but when I was in my ninth standard, we had this topic on stem cells, and my science teacher, I love to annoy her during that time. So when she introduced her to stem cells, and I was like, okay, so what does they do? And I asked her a bunch of questions, but it was like half because of I wanted to annoy her, and partly because I was really intrigued by the topic, like how stem cells can have therapeutic effects and how they can regenerate and stuff. I was very interested in that aspect.
Yeah.
So, as in how I progressed, I started learning more about it through Coursera and courses, and at the same time, like gaining sort of snippets on how to be a scientist and how to go into research and stuff like that, because from my family no one came from like science background, so I didn't know what to do, and so I used to like Google search how to be a researcher, and they used to give me like, you have to do a bachelor's, then you have to do a master's and stuff like that. So it started from there actually, and
Okay.
then as in how time progressed, I was really interested into this topic, and as in how I started learning more, I got good at it as well as I understood it, and like I started loving it, you can say. I started loving certain aspects of it, and I started having this whole hypothesis of mine. Okay, I need to do this. So that is how it developed. And from here in the future, I say that I really think that the perspective that I bring to the research topic would be very interesting for me to explore and for also like to do research on. So I'm very excited about that, and that is why I think I am in research.
It's like you followed your childhood passion of being in,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yes.
Okay, so like I want to ask that since you have been working here, have you ever experienced any gender bias over there?
Okay, I would love to say this that my work, I mean, people, sometimes people like crib about their work or are very sweet about their work, but I am 100% very grateful for the opportunity that I got, and I have never experienced that in my work life. In
So
fact, my PI, I think all credit goes to my PI. He has been such a supportive person. I mean, even if I'm ill, he'll be like, you please stay at home. Why are you here? I am worried because of you. So, yeah, having people around like that really made me realize that research is not only about toxic environment, and you can get good people here and like surround yourself with that and have a good work life balance as well as do research. So you don't have to be 24/7 in the lab to achieve something. You can be more productive by not doing that, in fact.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I have never experienced that. Sorry.
That's actually a good thing that you have not experienced that, because as far as you know, you hear stories about the gender bias in the STEM
Yeah,
culture.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And it's very nice to hear that there are places where you don't experience it at all. I
Mhm.
would rather say that my lab is also one place where I've never experienced gender bias.
Yeah,
In even small or big, whatever things, I didn't see any gender bias over there.
yeah.
But having said that, like you mentioned, what do you feel about your work life balance being in research? Because I just mentioned, that research, you hear from people like, research is all about working all time and no work life balance. What do you think about that, and how do you feel about this?
Okay, as I mentioned you earlier, I was also of the same opinion since I had no guidance at all of what a research should be like. So during my masters, I like literally worked Saturdays, Sundays, every day that I got in the lab, and I was like, I want to do this, I want to do that, and da 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 da, everything. And at the end, when it was over, it just came out physically. I was ill, I was exhausted, I didn't eat properly, and yeah, I mean, it led to nothing. Okay, and cut to having like being in this job, this really taught me work life balance.
Yeah.
Like people are just so good. I mean, genuinely. uh, you have a set time defined, 9 to 5, you work there, you have your experiments, plan accordingly, have breaks between the time slot that you work, and you can come anytime you want. If you work a day, suppose today I'm working till 3 o'clock, tomorrow I'm working till 6 o'clock. So like adjust your time accordingly.
Yeah.
So if you work extra, balance it out over the week and don't like like work out yourself. So that is the work life balance I have seen here. And to tell you the truth, in the first 3 months, I was able to achieve, I think, 4 times the work that I did during my masters. So that was like, oh wow, I can do so much
My
and
God.
without being, exhausted cut
Yeah.
24/7. So this is so easy. And why was I like that? So that is why, like, to have even the PhD applications or to get that, I was like very strict on myself that this work life balance that I have learned here, I would carry it forward in my PhD because I want that to be a place of the thing that I love and not the one that I crib about or hate or, just have negativity towards it.
Yeah. So it's basically the time management. That's all about.
Yeah, time management as well as like prioritize. If
Yeah.
you have like a don't try to do everything all at once. You can easily do it throughout the week. You can easily manage 3 experiments in a week, get done with that, and get spaciously done with that. So if you're doing an experiment in the morning, you have like the entire day to do analyze or just have a coffee or
Yeah.
whatever. But at the end of the day, every week you have a lot of data that you have generated,
Yeah. Of course.
right? So I think also having regular meetings with your PI helps. So
Hmm.
for me, every Friday we have meeting with our PI,
Hmm.
like a group meeting, and we show what everyone has done throughout the week. And
Ah,
because of that, there has never been a single week where we have not done anything, right? And
I
even
do
if we
get
have
it.
not done anything, we like are cool with it. Okay, this week was tiring. I didn't do much. I did just this, right?
Yeah.
But that because of that, we have stuff. And yeah, we are always like up our game and not being not productive.
That actually makes sense. Having a checkpoint at different stages of your work really helps. So you always have a direction of,
Yeah, that is true.
because in research you can easily get lost. It's
Yeah, that
very
is true.
because
Yeah.
there's so much. It's so vast. You start reading about one thing and then you end up on the other.
Mhm.
So vast.
Also, like during the initial time, you should like set a time point for yourself, like in the 3 months. So I had this probation meetings every 3 months, but I think that is something that I want to carry forward to for my PhD. So for the first 3 months, I would set sort of goals for myself, scientifically, academically, as well as professionally and personally. And
Mm.
then you try to achieve it during the 3 months, and then you like tick the boxes as if it
Yeah.
is fully completed, partially completed, or have done nothing. So that sort of thing really helped me because I'm the person who wants to do everything, and I don't like getting a not done or in progress ticks. So I try to like achieve those goals. So that really helped me to organize everything. So I knew that in the first 3 months I had to get this done,
Yeah.
right? So I think that is something that I would love to see me doing during my PhD.
Okay, that actually makes sense. Having a checklist is something that I also do till date. I have a checklist for like I
Every day as well, right?
yeah. So I mean like I
Mhm.
have a to-do
Yeah.
list. You're
Yeah,
like
yeah, me too.
done,
Like
done.
every morning when you go, the first thing you do is
To-do
write down
list.
whatever that you have to do today, and then
Yeah.
at the end of the day, just check it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
And checking it out brings so much
So
satisfaction.
much joy. Oh, I know. Yeah.
And I think the more bigger task you complete, the amount of satisfaction, has that linear graph.
Yeah.
The
And
bigger the
the more
task,
you write, yeah, and the more you write it that way, it gets to a habit,
yeah.
and that is very helpful because you even if you like, I remember once I was not doing anything and I just like went through my checklist book, and I had done so much during the year during the months that I have been here. So that's really a good quality check, not quality check, confidence check, I would say, that I can do stuff. Because in research, you do
Yes.
have days where you feel like you're an idiot.
And actually, there is like you have iPads, you have laptops, but nothing can replace that old school notebook
I
thing.
know,
Writing
yeah,
with pen and ticking it. No,
yes.
nothing can replace that. And
Mhm.
okay, I have this question. So you always wanted to do a PhD, right? So
Mhm.
was it in your plan to do a PhD abroad, or did you also consider doing it in India?
Well, never. I never considered doing my PhD in India.
Wow.
Well, because the field that I was looking forward to, stem cells research, was not that developed in India, and I knew that the research facilities or the amount of research that would have that India has right that time was not that great. And
Okay.
also there were like so many other stuff before doing a PhD, which was very exhausting. Like I want to do a PhD. You check my caliber for that, and that's it. But you
Yeah.
have this sort of entrance exams and this and that, and I did not really wanted to. I wanted to invest my time doing research, right?
True.
So I always knew that I want to do a PhD here, but I also knew that my background did not allow me to do that because I came from a zoology background,
Yeah.
and doing a PhD in stem cells requires you to know something about stem cells or have lab experience to
Yeah.
that. So I knew that for a PhD I would need a master's in that field or that lab experience for me to do pursue it ahead. Yeah.
So okay, so do you also find that there was a difference between the culture of education in India and London? Because since you have pursued masters in both places, what do you think? I mean,
I
how
think
to
it
explain?
really depends on subject. For
Okay.
researchers, I would say that this is the best place to do your higher education.
Yeah.
Of course, your basic education, I think India is good at that.
Yeah.
Like to getting your basics right,
Hmm?
concepts right, India is best at it.
Yeah.
But to get your brain working in the direction of research,
Hmm?
I think abroad is more suited for it
Okay.
because the type of tasks and assignments that we used to have were not like write an essay on this and da 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 da. We always had like write a report on clinical trials. So we had to do proper research and write a research article on that,
Ah, okay.
or create protocols for an experiment, or do a business proposal for a particular product that we invented,
Hmm.
right? So it was from every dimension very what you say sort of mind boggling
Hmm.
because you
Yeah.
had to think out of the box because everything was very new, and you had to read research papers here, and you did not had a particular test book that you had to go through. So it really motivated you to think.
Yeah.
That is what a job is of a researcher, I think. So I love the education here, but I also simultaneously love the education that we had back in terms of basic concepts. Because I think if you compare, we shouldn't, but if we compare the basic education that we had or the basic concepts that we are well versed with, I think people here are
Mm.
not that good at it, or they learn it over time, or they are good at it in terms of if they have done their PhD in particular that topic, then they'll be good at it. If you ask, suppose a biologist, you ask them a physics question, they wouldn't know even the basics of it.
Okay.
And it's not like 100% true, of course, but I have seen this. As far as I have seen, most of the concepts of every subject in the PCMB group are clear of
So
people who have
they
done it.
are more like application oriented. If you have the application, you learn it, else you just
Yeah,
ignore
exactly.
it.
They don't stress about learning it. But for us, it was like, yeah, you have to do this. You have exams, and like you are taught everything, and that is why when you learn this, you directly get the concept, or
Okay.
you're able to answer the concepts, or
Ah,
you're able to gauge, okay, if this is this, because this is the concept, then I can modify it accordingly. That sort of thinking you can have because you have stronger concepts.
yeah. So I also want to ask you that since you mentioned about your PhD, so I have actually two questions over here. First is how did you apply for your PhD abroad? Because I know it's very difficult to get a PhD abroad. You have to make many applications for that. And the second question I want to ask you is about how do you know how do you get a funded PhD? That's a very big deal. Getting a fully funded PhD. Like,
Okay.
was it a fellowship? Is it a contract? And what's the difference between both of them when you were applying?
Okay, so I had decided that I will only apply to fully funded PhD studentships.
Yeah.
So when I was applying, I was not even looking at those.
Okay.
Okay. So findapphd.com, I think,
Yeah,
is
yeah,
the
I get it.
place to find PhDs, especially in UK, I feel. So you have a sort of filter where you can filter that what sort of funding do you have. And I always looked for places which had full funding. So last year I had applied to like two or three PhDs and I could get an interview for one of them, which was a very bad experience. I was not ready for a interview like that. But then this year I had again applied to three or four positions and I got interview in three of them.
Wow, that's too good.
Yeah. So yeah, I had good interview experience because of that. And to walk you through a general application is just that you find a PhD or any related or LinkedIn
Hmm?
for fully funded PhDs, and then you study what they have said, like in the title or whatever the project is about. And if you're really interested into that, then apply. Don't
Okay.
apply to 100 of them and be like
Yeah.
exhausted. Apply to the ones that you're really interested in, and if you get an interview, you'll be like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
So I did that.
Okay.
And when you write your application, so I had done applications last year and I just got one interview, and this year, and I can see a drastic change in myself and the way I applied. So from that study, what I understood is that the PhD people who like recruit for PhD students, they are looking for like everyone has the same skill sets. Like you coming with your CV, you have done Western blots, immunostaining, da da da. Others has have done the same thing and they have mentioned that in their CV. But what sets you apart to get that interview is that how well you connect those trainings with your project
Hmm.
and how much of a research thinking that you have that you can display in your application. So, in your personal statements or in the questions like why you want to do a PhD and what skills you have, your previous experience, instead of saying that I did this research, I used this technique and I got this result, instead of this
Hmm.
try saying that okay, we answered this research question and how you did it, we tried to apply this the skills, and because of this we were able to get this result, which is very intriguing. Why? Because so like sort of do some like show them your research or critical
Yeah.
thinking in the application. So
Oh.
that is one of the key point of applying for a PhD. Second is, don't be too elaborate. Like they have asked you a specific question, try to stay on that question and answer that. And for it was very difficult for me to do that because I always drift away. So
Yeah.
what I did was I wrote the question and I highlighted the points they were looking for.
Ah, okay.
Whenever I was answering or writing it, I always used to like second read it. What are they looking for? Okay, this. Is my answer tailoring it to that? Or is my answer answering their questions?
Mm.
Or, okay, have they mentioned this particular quality? Is it displayed through my answer? Okay, I was always being myself, but at the same time displaying what I am to its fullest potential, right? Because sometimes you don't sell yourself enough. I think most of the researchers don't do it because they shy away a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, try to be there. Like you are this, try to show what you are in your application. That is second thing. Yeah, I think, and just the passion for research. It should show. I mean, there is no way that you would get a PhD without them
Yeah,
noticing.
I am. Yes, true.
So yeah, be truthful about your passion, and yeah, I think it will eventually show in your application by the excitement or enthusiasm you speak about or write about it.
Yeah,
So try to tailor that instead of being like, okay, they have asked this, I have done this, so I'll get an application. It's never that way.
yeah. I
Yeah.
totally get it. And now you were funded through a fellowship or you were signing a contract? That's my second question.
Okay, I don't understand this concept because we don't have it here.
Okay.
It's directly a fully funded studentship. So I do get a contract, but it's more like I don't understand the meaning of contract by what you mean.
So
But
basically, are you considered as an employee?
no, I am considered as a student,
Okay.
uh, but I would get stipends on that, on my work, for 4 years. So in the UK, the PhD is for 4 years, and any time exceeding that is not allowed, I think.
It's
Yeah,
not.
you can ask for a extension, but most of the PhDs do get denied. Uh, yeah, I am not clear about the concept, but I do know that the PhD is for like 4 years, and there is like you can request an extension, but usually all the PhDs get done in 4 years because also the studentship, that is the stipend and the funding, is for 4 years. But
Okay.
that can also depend on what your project is and what the funding agents are. So if you have a PhD which is funded for 3 years, the
Hmm?
fourth year when you write your thesis, you would have to fund it. So
Oh.
it can also be like that, or you can apply for external funding.
Ah, okay.
So something like that you can do. So for me, it's just a regular contract, like a offer letter for
Yeah, I
if
get
you
that.
want to get it for master's application. So just that, but it is like in that application, everything is enlisted. When I have to finish the PhD, or how like when I have to complete my thesis writing, or the stipend thing, or the IPs, or the yeah, all of that is written. Yeah.
And and okay, so basically when you will start your contract, you will so basically it is a studentship. So you are not actually an employee.
No, yeah.
You do enjoy the benefits of a student, that is true.
Yeah, I do. I am not taxed on my stipend, so
Okay,
that's
you're not
good.
taxed on. That's a super good thing because in Germany,
You are taxed?
yes, because we
Oh
are
my God.
that depends actually. That actually depends. So if you are coming through the contract, you're signing a contract with the university,
Hmm.
you might have to, just sign a contract and then you are an employee, you
Hmm.
are taxed. Whereas when you're coming through a fellowship, you have got a stipend, you are a student and you're not taxed. But the catch is, it actually, depends upon the kind of fellowship you're coming on.
Okay, I didn't know
So
that. That's just something new that I've learned.
you might be getting less than what people with salary are offered.
Oh my God.
And then the bonuses.
Oh, we don't have the concept of bonus. We just have a state stipend, which is like a living wage.
So that's the matter. So basically in salary, if you are an employee and if you have a salary, you get bonus. The Christmas bonus, or
Yeah,
sometimes the
yeah.
tax-free compensation. Sometimes I'm not
That is
not
good.
given every time, but sometimes you get this tax-free compensation given what is the condition of the budget
Mm-hmm.
in the from the government.
Yeah.
That is completely a new thing, or if you just get lucky sometimes, get some
Yeah.
extra money. So
Yeah.
basically, that is one difference that I feel, and that is one detail that all of us. I mean,
Should
I am
be,
sure that
yeah,
I
read
missed.
about.
I missed this detail. I actually applied for a fellowship.
Okay.
I did not apply for the contract.
Contract.
So, but my skill set was, more suitable for the other project, so I ended up signing a contract.
Mm-hmm.
But now, when I'm actually just was looking into some details, now I realize that there is a difference.
Mm-hmm.
There
No,
is,
I never knew this. Yeah.
and even sometimes I don't know if the concept of tuition fee is also there, depending upon
Yeah.
what
We
graduate.
have tuition fee, a lot of tuition fee, especially for international students. It's bad.
So you have to put the tuition fee in your PhD too.
No, they are paying it for me, but
Exactly.
then it's very difficult for an international student to get a studentship then because it's like 10 times of what. Yeah, I mean, for home students, it's like 9,000 pounds.
Hmm?
For international students, it's like 33,000 pounds. It's like, yeah, it's a lot per
Oh my
year.
God. Oh my
Per
God.
year.
So, I mean, I realized this difference and I was stunned. I was like, despite, and the number of benefits you get as a student is not too many.
Yeah, it's not a lot. Yeah. Even for like places, if you want to hunt, there
Yeah.
are places where you cannot go as a student, like there are limited opportunities. And if you want to rent a place by yourself, you have to pay council tax if the person is not agreeing to you being exempted from that.
My God.
There are, yeah, you have to look into that as well.
Yeah. I mean, these are so minute details that no brochure, no manual, no advertisement, nobody tells you. You just
Yeah,
get it when you are into it.
yeah,
But these details matter so much in the long term because
it
you're
does.
not going to be paid for like that for next 4 years or maybe 3 years, whatever the.
You have to think about like, okay, I am at this age of my life, this stage of my life, and for 4 years I am getting paid this salary, right? And I should be comfortable with that. Okay, as a teenager, I'm comfortable with that now. Would I be comfortable with that 4 years down the lane?
Yeah,
So that
exactly.
is something you should look into.
And also, there is one difference. I guess the stipend remains the same. The stipend is not increasing. Or
Yes, no, because I was always of the opinion that the stipend doesn't increase. But there are institutions where they have a percentage increase
yeah,
throughout the year, but it's not a lot. It's like barely £100 per year. So it's not
yeah.
that,
But
that
in,
much.
I mean, here I don't. The normally the stipend doesn't increase depending upon the fellowship normally, and the salary does increase by a bit. So if the government makes an increase,
Yeah, if the government makes an increase, then only you have. So basically, for my PhD, it's by this charity called Cancer Research UK. So if they increase their annual budget, then the stipend increases.
hmm,
And yeah, it's all usually through via their route and not like personalized or by the
yeah,
lab.
I get that. But
Yeah.
sometimes because I am always of this idea that stipends doesn't increase as much and you don't get these compensations,
Yeah,
bonuses,
you
this
don't.
concept
And the
of it.
living cost increases like per year. So it's very difficult sometimes to like manage everything, especially if you have some sort of responsibilities or education loans to pay for.
Yeah, which I think UK is in general very expensive.
Very expensive. London is expensive. Yeah.
I mean, for me, Germany is not that expensive for like, I don't find it that expensive, maybe because of the city that I'm living in right now. If you go towards Berlin or cities like Munich, they are very expensive.
I think most of your stuff, I mean, money goes into renting, I feel.
Rent.
Rent is a lot.
I mean, because it's a student city, so everything you have is rent. Because you need a house, you have to pay a lot of amount because there are 10 other people applying for the same house.
Yeah.
So if you try to negotiate, they'll just be like, Okay, we have
Yeah.
10 other people. You can
I
get out.
mean, especially in London, I have seen like if someone is giving you, okay, they have a set rent set for this suppose room, and they would be like, okay, this person is giving me £100 more. I would sell it to that. Then they would like literally bid.
Yeah.
Never seen this. I was like, what is wrong?
Okay, and since we're talking upon this whole London thing and this country thing, I also want to know that how difficult was it financially to make a move here? Because I know that London is very expensive, you just said it.
Okay, it is expensive, but I think it is very subjective as well.
Okay.
London is expensive. That is like that remains.
Yeah.
It is, but also it is very subjective in terms of how you spend.
Mm.
So when I knew that I got the job, I requested them extra time for me to like arrange myself to move and stuff because I was moving from Manchester.
Oh, okay.
So I had a short-term lease at a place so that I can come down here. In that 1 month, I would do my job, but at the same time, find good housing for
Mm.
myself. So that was one thing. So I did not had to pay a long-term deposit for that short stay. I just had to pay the rent for that month. So that is how I saved on the deposit. And after a month, I was paid, right?
Okay, yeah.
That is how I adjusted with the long-term deposit and renting.
Mm.
And also at that time, I kind of knew, okay, this is close. I always rent place close to my work
Mm.
because especially when you do lab work, or experiments, you have to go in the lab at odd hours, and it feels a lot safer if you have something on walking distance.
Yeah.
You know that you're going to reach home in 30 minutes, especially if you live alone.
Yeah.
That is why I prefer to have. So I don't spend a lot on commute.
Mm.
I It is just walking distance, so I save in my transport. So the
Okay.
only thing I spend is food and
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
some if I want to go out. Yeah. So
Mm.
that is how I manage, but it is very subjective. Suppose if a person lives, uh, says goes every night out and have food, then that is going to be expensive, right? But I like even back in India, I do not go out a lot. I love home cooked meal. And I'm good with home cooked meal. Otherwise, I fall sick.
Okay.
So I try to like cook fresh food, so that is also how I save money, which is like, yeah, works for me.
Okay. That actually seems like what I do too. So that's
So,
your
yeah,
go-to
I mean,
thing.
if you manage well, you can do everything, I
Yeah.
feel. Yeah, even renting, like, suppose whenever you go to a place, you know the highest rent and the lowest rent, right? So, how comfortably can you live, and what is the range in that way of lifestyle? So, you can find a place. So, I found this place, I think 3 months I was searching for a house,
Mm.
like 2 months there when I was in Manchester, and 1 month here. And I finally found this place. It was like gold. Like
Okay.
if I tell someone that I found this place like in the like near to the city, no one would believe. So yeah, so it's also like searching and
Yeah.
going on things and having your budget set. Okay, I need this much for rent. I need this much for rent. It
Yes.
is not exceeding that, or maybe somewhat flexible exceeding that, but
Yeah.
not over the board. So having that tight sort of budget for everything that you do, not everything, but at least for rent, because I think rent is the place where most of your chunk goes. So if
Yeah.
you save like 200 to 300 pounds on rent, you don't have to compromise on your everyday lifestyle.
Yeah, that's actually true. That's I think the go-to thing for all the international students, I think.
Yeah, so you save on rent and then you live comfortably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I think a comfortable housing is very important because to keep you mentally healthy.
Mentally, yeah, that is so true. I mean, get a good place.
Yeah. And okay, like we mentioned about being mentally healthy, I have, and I guess you have also seen a lot of people talking about mental health in academia, and
Mhm,
they say that it's not a very healthy culture over there. What do you
mhm.
think about that?
I think it is what you make it to be,
Okay.
because there can be toxic supervisors who can be the sort of initiator for you to think a certain way, or
Mm.
for you to hamper your mental peace. But at the end of the day, somewhere you have to make efforts to be like, okay, you know what, this is my life. I'm taking control of it, and this is how I do it, right? It is very easier said than done,
Mm.
because sometimes you cannot avoid it, especially if you have a supervisor who is toxic. But it is very important for you to surround yourself with good people.
Yeah.
You should have good friends around, even if there is a single friend, but whom you can like. So I have this friend in my work.
Mm.
She's from India, and she was not there for a month, and I was not there for a month, and we like the schedule was such that I went to India and she was here working, and then
Ah,
she went to India and I was working.
okay.
So we found out in that month was ranting about how our day went, or even like discussing about our project was very important
Yeah.
for mental health, right? Because you were talking about it, or you were just expressing, or you were being vocal, or you were just having conversation. So to have that is very important in a work where it is mentally exhausting.
Yeah.
So having that kind of relief is very important. So having friends, good people surround you, positivity, or anything that you like doing, I think. So maybe you like reading book, do read that if it is getting you happy, okay? Or watching a movie, or do something that you enjoy. It doesn't have to be pricey if you're a student. It can be as minute as like just have a walk,
Yeah.
right? So do things that make you happy, but at the same time you're going to not overthink on things which are unnecessary or in the future. I mean, I do that myself, but then for that I have written on my vision board a very good quote which suits me. You are here
Okay,
and
that.
so the quote says, you are here and here is wonderful.
Wow.
So
That's
I am like, by keeping that in front of me, I tell myself that this is it, you're here, don't think about the future. So yeah, doing things like this help you, I think.
that's actually something, I do it. I mean, I won't say that I don't overthink. I'm an overthinker. I overthink a lot about future. Too much into the future actually.
Mhm.
But I don't have like a vision board or something.
Oh, I never, sorry to interrupt you, but I never had it, you know. And this year I was like, I'm gonna make it. And like 90% of the things on that vision board has come true. And I'm like shook. I am shook. And the first
Really?
thing in that vision board was PhD in the center.
Wow.
Yeah, so yeah, I am just like, wow, I have unlocked something here, and I'm going to keep doing that.
For
Yeah,
me, I
continue, sorry.
for me, I just follow this one quote. I mean, it was by Steve Jobs. I Okay, so for me, I really admire Steve Jobs. I read his biography, and that was one of the biographies I couldn't really stop reading. I
Mhm.
finished the book in a week. It was done, and it is
Nice.
800 pages book. I just finished it.
Mhm.
And there was this one quote, not in the book, but I was reading him, on internet, and there is this one quote by him that you can never connect the dots looking forward. You can always connect
Oh,
the dots.
wow, yes, that is so true. Oh, nice.
So, and it was more of like that now whatever I do, I just feel when I look backwards, I can connect the
I
dots.
can, yeah, that is so true. Yeah,
Why I took some steps, but I can never connect the dots looking into the future.
yeah,
I can plan it, but I cannot be very sure that life will go that way that I
that
planned
is
it to
so
be.
true. That is so true.
So,
I can totally, totally, totally relate to this because
yeah.
the PhD that I got, I would have never applied to if it wasn't for this job.
Ah,
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that makes so much sense.
I mean, I admire this person. Okay, everybody knows he was a genius, but I admire this person because he was a visionary.
Hmm.
I have so much admire. I mean, I don't really admire businessmen for me. I don't idolize them. That's my.
I think it's
I
always the Nobel Prize winners or something like
I
that.
do idolize Nobel Prize winners,
Yeah.
and I do read about them. For example, David Baker, I do read about him and
Yeah.
the kind of work he has done. I totally admire it. But it was the first time in my life I started admiring a businessman.
Hmm.
And it was his genius that I started admiring. The kind of vision he had and the guts he had to bring it to reality. Oh my God.
Mhm.
That is truly something I found motivating. And that
Mhm.
motivates me each day, I think. That's not just one day, and I'm motivated by each day.
That is good to have a person like you can look up to.
And he was not perfect, but he knew that he can do it, and he did do it. So I was like, this is what I want.
Mhm.
Yeah. So as far as we are on this topic, do you think that, so you might have also seen and realized that PhDs have a very high dropout rate.
Yeah,
PhDs do drop out after 2 years, 1 year, 3 years. Why do you think? What is the reason behind it?
I think from what I think is like people want to do a PhD and they don't really know why. I mean, they do, but not that deeply. And when they go into it, they just don't like the way it is, or it is not the way they suppose, like they thought it would be. So that
Hmm.
is why they drop out. First thing. Second is it takes too much of their mental health that they cannot bear, and they are like, okay, what? My life is more important to me than this. Sometimes it's just the work culture. Maybe you have a toxic person and you can bear with it for a period of time, but sometimes you just can't. So you drop out. So like there are so many things.
Yeah, because I feel like, apart from other reasons, an impulsive decision is one of the major reasons that you drop out because it's not masters at the end of the day. It's a PhD. It's
Mhm.
your own project. I mean, it's the car that you have to drive, and
Mhm.
nobody else is going to come and drive it for you. Like
Mhm.
in masters, you have your supervisors, pushing you all the time, submit this, submit that, but that's not the case in your PhD.
Yeah, yeah.
So, my last question to you is that if given a chance to improve something in this field, what would you do to make
Mm,
it a better
Very,
place?
very good question. Make it a better place for whom?
Make it a better place for the people working in it, for the people who want to come into it, but are, just giving it a second thought that, maybe because of some issues, it's not the right place for them. So, what do you think we would do to make it a better place for the people in it and people wanting to come in it?
Okay. For the people who are in it, I would say that there should be a lot of support mentally, and also to normalize things. Like there are so many things in research that are not normalized.
Like,
Like if you're a researcher,
mhm.
I have seen like people go like, "You're a researcher, you should be intelligent. Why are you like dancing around?" For
Yeah,
example. But like normalizing that they are human and they can pursue their own passions or whatever they feel like. So that is not normalized, I feel.
yeah.
That is why it can be a toxic place sometimes because you are always considered to be an intellectual and making the right decisions and da.
Mhm.
But understanding that they are a person and like appreciating their creative side, sort of, and making research a good place for everyone and not just the stereotypical researcher that
Yeah,
people think. And again, this goes to the one who are coming inside. Um,
yeah,
so, for the people who are entering into research, they shouldn't have their set opinions about research because
yeah,
it is so much more than what they think.
yeah,
There is not a lot of information out there. So, I also think that the existing people should have some sort of resources for example, just sidetracked a bit, but in my university, there are like students coming over just to see how research works. So for me, it was like researchers are like going to the lab. They were when I was small,
yeah,
okay? But for them, that is such a good step, right? Like to see what the real life scientists do, what
yeah,
they do in terms of research. What do you mean by research? Like students coming over, they go into the lab, they go do in the data analysis. So they explore everything that is in the lab or in the
yeah.
university or in the campus. That is something that should be motivated more.
Mm.
More and more people should be aware of that for them to make a good decision, or to make a rationalized decision of if that is something that suits you or not, right? Or if that is something that you like doing or not.
Yeah.
I think that, yeah, I think that is what I would say.
I mean, I actually am very impressed by your this answer because the thing you mentioned about addressing to the researcher's creative side, it's actually not normalized in our field. For example, if you're a researcher, you're supposed to be a nerd and just working, 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 or studying, studying, studying. Like,
Yeah, it is like you have a set characters that you should have, and then there are things that you cannot have.
it's
So,
like, being the Harry Potter that you're only born to do the magic. You're
hmm,
only born to study, so you cannot have a creative side. You cannot have like a passion other than research.
yeah, yeah.
So,
It
yeah,
is
I
seen
think,
as if you're not like intelligent enough or something. So I
yeah.
think that is not good. Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe by our interview, if people see it, they'll know that these things do exist. Researchers are also humans, they are not
I
robots.
mean, it will take a lot to change, I think that. But then, as in how young researchers are into this field, especially if you see uh, on YouTube or even on Instagram, so many people have come out uh,
Yeah.
uh, and like doing content and exploring and like just making people aware of what research is. That is so good to see. I feel so proud of them.
Yeah. So thank you so much for being here. And it actually means a lot because, your answers were enlightening, not only for me, but for so many people. I mean, who actually maybe will get to see this because, all of the people applying abroad or applying a PhD are somewhere in the middle where they don't know where to go. I was one of them. I can't even deny that fact because I did not know where to go. I did not know the details. I did not really have an idea of how to figure out stuff.
Mhm.
Because I was just a master's fresher when I joined a PhD. I just completed my master 3 months and then I was here. So for me as a fresher to navigate it, I was like,
What is going on? And also, you have to understand if you're thinking of moving abroad, it comes with a lot of things that you have to figure out. Or, like, it is just not any fancy word that you're moving abroad. It comes with a lot of responsibility, change, uh, and yeah, so much more responsibility again.
yeah.
So, you have to be confident in yourself that you can do it. And even if you're not, when you come here, you need to be confident that you are going to do it.
And
Because
you
at
have
the
no
end
other
of the
option
day,
after you have
yeah,
landed. You
because at
have
the
to
end
do
of
it.
the day, if you really want it, you have to do it.